Hey, how's everyone doing today? Here we go.
Man, I appreciate you guys having me on, man. I think doing the Detroit Lions show, the fans out there are passionate, um, one of a kind. And so appreciate the work that you guys doing. Appreciate you guys having me on. I do Believe in Lions podcast on the Believe Network with my co-host Jack Kavanaugh, who's actually from Canada as well. And we talk pre-game, post-game. We do a preview show some point in the week before the next game, and then we talk today already after the game. But I just want to say, like, Detroit is a great city, man. I got love for Detroit.
How's everyone doing today? To be honest with you, I clicked the wrong button, but it's okay. It's okay. Couldn't find the intro. We are without Darcy today. He had to work, but it's me and my man Donnie C. Donnie, say what's up, man.
Hey, what's up, Lions Nation? You got to be pumped up for tomorrow's game against the Dallas Cowboys.
Another Thursday one, right?
Yes, sir. Another Thursday.
So let's get right into it, right? So I want to go with our first segment, our first topic, and I kind of want to hear what you got to say. And it's is our fans having an overreaction to this season? Are they hitting the panic button too soon? Are they ready to throw the team away? We see a lot of arguments online, the fan base going at each other, and it's been a rough road. What's your thoughts on that?
Yes, and yes. What's our record, Woody?
7-5.
Are we really going to give up on a 7-5 team? Come on, guys. I see a lot of negativity out here, and I know the players probably see it. They probably hear it from their family, some other sources. Look, 7-5, we got beat last Thursday by a good team. I'm one that can't stand the Green Bay Packers, but that team that went in our building last week manhandled us and beat us. It happens. Good teams beat good teams. We haven't lost to a bad team unless you want to count Minnesota, which they probably, I would say they're a bad team now officially. At the time, that quarterback was really hot, right? So we lost. I just don't understand the negativity when it comes to judging the Detroit Lions right now compared to how we looked at them when we beat the Chicago Bears week 2. We've had injuries on the way, I understand, but the game plan is the same. I understand people are frustrated with the coaching. I understand, but we're 7-5, and we have our destiny in front of us. 12 wins is possible. I don't see it. I don't believe it, but you never know. That's football. That's football, guys. We can end up with 11 wins. We can end up with 8. We can end up with 12. It's still possible. We still have 5 games to play. So, yeah, I'm still feeling pretty good about tomorrow. I love our matchup against Dallas, and I know we're not a favorite. You know, from this media outlet to this source right here, everybody's counting us out because of the way we played last week and the way that Dan's struggling with some of the play calling. But I'm telling you, man, I'm excited. I think this matchup is in our favor. Call me crazy if you want. Talk to me tomorrow after the game.
Yeah. So I think from a Lions fan's perspective, right? We watch Ben Johnson leave. You know, he struggles at first, 0-2 start, completely turns the ship around. Now, I'm with you. Like, I haven't given up on our Detroit Lions. The talent's there. We're struggling with the play calling, coaching staff. I got a couple plays we're going to show during our segments that I completely am disappointed in the effort that some of the guys, some of our leaders have shown. You know, we go from 6-0 in the division, right? 15-2 record to 1-3 in the division, 7-5 record. The schedule, we knew coming into the season what this schedule was. And I know Ben Johnson's success. Like, if you go, remember that first and start of the second year, we had a rough, what was a 3-win season, Dan Campbell's first part. And then we started his first season, we was like 3-15 or something. And then remember how we started 1-6? And then we turned the ship around that year, wound up 9-8, right? Winning those games, knocking the Packers out the playoffs. But you know, that 1-6, that was what, 5 losses to playoff teams, and we barely lost. We just didn't know how to win. And you remember they were calling for Dan Campbell's job then.
Yes.
He turns the ship around, and all of a sudden he's the man. It's tough watching Chicago. I look at Chicago, and as a fan who watches, and which a lot of the fans here do, it's almost like we're watching the Chicago offense look like what we did last year and the year before with, I don't believe, the same amount of talent, right? Ben Johnson went and got Tooney and Jonah Jackson. It's tough because, they got 4 offensive line guys rated in the top 10 at their position. Of course, that's going to be the outcome. It's crazy when we watch DeAndre Swift and the 7th round pick and Kyle Monangai are the first Bears duo to go have over 100 yards since, what was that? The running back for Chicago. Had a brain fart, but you know who I'm talking. Walter Payton or whatever it is. I mean, 1985. We're watching how he's doing these things with these young guys. Double tight end sets, went and got Loveland. So, that's my thoughts on it. I think we are throwing them to the mist. I'm very optimistic on what this season is going to be down the road, right? I'm very I was optimistic beforehand. I feel like it's a weapons race, and I feel like we haven't been adding, the weapons. Watching trade deadlines go by in the off season. I mean, what do you think about that as far as, because I think that's where a lot of the concern is. What do you think, with Brad Holmes being kind of frugal with things, although we love Brad and Brad's done an awesome job?
Right. You would, in a perfect world, you would love to do, or should I say, you'd love to add some pieces at the deadline. In the case of the Lions front office, it has to make sense. Okay. We've heard that before. It needs to line up. If it makes sense and we can do it, we'll do it. It would have been nice if we could have went in and got another piece for the offensive line. It would have been nice to get an edge rusher, to sew up a couple, weak positions that we have, but it didn't happen. And the way Dan looks at it, the next man up is real. It's like you got to go with what you got. And that's why I admire about the guy. He's a hell of a coach. And a lot of people can say what they want right now, but when we're winning again, it's, oh my gosh, let's put a statue of Dan Campbell outside of Ford Field. It's going to be like that. But we're 7-5, and that's what pisses me off. We're not 0-12, 0-12. We're not 1-11. We're 7-5 with our destiny in front of us. I don't believe I've ever seen a 12-win team not make the playoffs, guys. And it's possible. I watched Carolina make the Rams look stupid Sunday. And you don't think the talent we have, we can't do the same? I know we were struggling, but it just takes clicking. You click when it's right. Just like the Bears. They won how many in a row, Woody? 8, 9?
Yeah.
They've been clicking for a while. Their offensive line is doing the dirty work.
Yeah, 9 out of the last 10. Yeah.
But look at their schedule now. You got your cupcakes out of the way. You earned this schedule last year because you sucked ass. You were 4th place in the NFC North. You got all these bad teams lined up on your schedule after week 2. Not many good teams except Philadelphia. Good team. Great team.
Yeah.
Super Bowl champion. You done well going in there and leaning on that line and pushing them around and run the ball over them. Now you got the Packers 2 more times. You got to play the team that just put a 50 burger on you week 2. You got to play who else is on their schedule? They got the Browns, but the Browns have a hell of a defense. If they can keep Caleb scrambling and making errors, they may get upset. This team, as good as they are, and as good as everybody is telling us that they are, they still may not even have a winning record when it's all said and done.
Yeah. So
you never know. This is the NFL. Well, how many wins do they got now? 8 or 9? 8?
8. Yeah.
There you go.
No, they have 9 wins.
Do they? They have 9 wins right now, so they're locked. They're going to have at least a 9-8 season. Bravo for them. That's great for them. And I'm not trying to trash talk to them. I'm not trying to talk them down. I'm just stating some facts that your schedule is getting a little bit harder. If you can win, I say out of 5 games, I see them winning anywhere from 1 to 2 games.
Yeah. So that right there, and to the next segment, right? Mm-hmm. We kind of talked about it. We're going to call it coaching anxiety, right? A lot of
Right.
the fans have a bad opinion, and it's great to lead into it, but a bad opinion about Dan Campbell, Johnny Morton, and the coaching staff, the play calling, and what's going on, right? And that also goes like a lot of people feel like we lost who should have been our head coach, Ben Johnson. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's crazy. Has Ben done good as a head coach so far? Yes. He's done good. He's took a bad team and made them a winner. He's done some really good things with Chicago. But to say that he's a better coach than Dan Campbell, I'm not buying it. I don't believe it. Not for 1 second. Not for 1 second. I believe that Ben Johnson's better than Dan Campbell. Like I said, the schedule was in their favor the first 10 games. I believe you'll agree with me. If you go back and look at their opponents, man, it's weak. Other than Philadelphia and Detroit, your schedule has been a bunch of cupcakes. I kind of was worried about that when the schedule came out. When I seen all their opponents. Before the schedule came out, I knew what opponents they had. And I thought to myself, if Ben Johnson can get this team above average, they can probably knock off some wins. But do you know who's sitting back really pissed off right now going into this week? We're pissed off as fans and we want to win and we have issues. But you got a team there in Wisconsin that I despise that he has to play not one time, but 2 times in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
That can flip the North all around either way. We can have some pretty big issues in the North. I can see them splitting, but I'm not sure, man. Ben Johnson at his press conference when he got introduced said some fighting words. He said he enjoyed beating Green Bay twice a year. That's with Detroit, bud. That's not with Chicago. So now you got your own set of problems this week. And honestly, I hope they beat the hell out of each other and they tie in both games. It probably won't help us anyway, but I don't want to see either one of them win. But the coaching question about the craziness of the coaching. Yeah, it comes down to everybody, not everybody, but a big majority of our fan base wants to see Dan Campbell either give up the play calling or, hey, us firing or, hey, he's a meathead or whatever. So it hasn't worked out perfectly in the 3 or 4 games that he has been calling plays. Give the guy a chance. That's not many games. That is not many games. I still have faith in this guy that we can turn it around. I think some of the time management things that he's doing can get a little bit cleaned up and we can get it going and get it rolling. Even with St. Brown tomorrow, Amon-Ra St. Brown tomorrow, if he doesn't play, I still think that Dan's got a good plan in place to use the weapons, like you call them, that we have. Would you agree, Woody?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we had towards the end of the year where we have 16 injuries. We were without Hutchinson the second half of the year. We go 15-2, right? You
Right.
know, I want to bring this up right now, and it's not our only problem, but I just want to just a couple things to kind of add to this play calling. Our red zone defense, if you get within the red zone, you have a 68.8% chance of scoring a touchdown. That's the 3rd worst in the league. And, a lot of our numbers are I don't want to say inflated. You can see the potential, but it's really the situational football, right? The Lions average the 3rd most yards at 37.63 yards per game. That's only behind the Buffalo Bills and this week's opponent, the Dallas Cowboys. In addition, 29.2 points per game are tied with the Seahawks for the 3rd most in the NFL. And they only trail the Dallas Cowboys and the Colts, right? Adding to that, the Lions' 26 passing touchdowns are tied for the 2nd in the NFL, and 16 rushing touchdowns are 4th in the NFL. But their execution on 3rd and 4th down plays are horrible. This year, we're 58 for 150 on 3rd down, which is 38.7. On 4th down, we're 13 for 25, which is 52%, right?
You're right.
We go for 4th down plays. Dan Campbell does that because it's what do you say? The analytics make sense. He's 0 and 9. The analytics are not making sense. And we get back to it like, yeah, we're 7 and 5, and I'm with you, Don. I'm with you. The Giants game, if Kafka kicks the field goal at the end of the game, we're not having this conversation. We're having the conversation. We're 1 game above 500. We've lost 4 out of our last 5 football games, right? And the Giants played everybody tough, right? Played tough. Jameis Winston put up almost 400 all-purpose yards on us. Like, and I like Calvin Shepard as a DC.
Mhm.
You can kind of see the holes, and you can kind of see how good Aaron Glenn was with what he had. I mean, you're talking about a guy whose defense, when he was here, was really bottom of the barrel, but yet got a head coaching job. I mean, that should speak volumes, right? Usually you got to be superb like Ben Johnson.
Right.
I'm not sure on Johnny Morton, right?
Right.
Our passing coach we brought over from Stanford, like,
Coach Shaw.
yeah. Jim Harbaugh's protege, right?
Mhm.
My arms are up in the air over it, man. You can see inconsistencies with Dan Campbell. You can see it in his coaching. You really can. And in my opinion, you can see how much Ben Johnson did mean to this football team. You know, a lot of that goes back to this, though. Me and you had a conversation earlier today, and we'll show the play in this show. You know, I'm watching Lions players quit on the field. I'm watching lack of effort in certain players that should not be showing lack of effort are building blocks of this team.
Right.
We don't have an identity more than our coaching staff's the issue. We built this team. You go to the stadium, you'll be there on the 20th for the Steelers game. You see grit everywhere, on the walls, on the floor. I mean, grit has a special meaning to it, right? And I just don't feel like we have that identity at this point. Not ready to throw in the towel. I do not think our boys suck, but I just feel like it's a different brand of football at this time. What do you think?
Excuse me. I feel that you're right. I feel that there's a lot of blame to go around. It's not just the offense. It's not just the defense, but just like Coach Shep said the other day, he took responsibility for that ugly performance on Thanksgiving. As bad as people want to make golf out to be, the offense out to be, we did pretty good on offense, I felt, other than a couple mistakes Thursday. I thought the defense was the biggest issue. We couldn't stop anybody. Like you said, people quitting on plays, players quitting on plays. That's not a great way to be. He did take accountability, which is awesome for a coach to take accountability for a losing in the performance. I mean, we didn't get any pressure on Love, and that's a problem. Now, Love is awesome against a blitz, so if you don't get to him right away, he can tear you a lot. He can just eat you up. He can pick you apart. Everybody knows it, and that's what we did the first game. I think we blitzed 60% of the time, or 60 plus, over 60%, and it didn't go our way. This time, we just couldn't cover anybody either. I mean, we have Brian Branch sitting there just right there on the wide receiver, and they're just catching the balls. But there is some effort that you talked about. If you want to play the play that you were talking about, I'll sit back and we'll watch it and talk about it if you want.
So now let's lead into this because it's the perfect timing, right? For the third segment today. Let's talk about the loss to the Packers. Thoughts on the game and how bad it hurt, right? So I wanna play this play. I'm gonna play it all the way through. This is the touchdown that was reviewed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where Brian Branch was in cover. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and hit it. Here we go.
Love looking, floating for the corner. Wiggs, he is! Is he in? Waiting for the signal. Yes, he's in! Touchdown, Packers! And Dean Blandino, you agree with us here?
I do. The key is, when does Wicks get control of the ball? And to me,
like, his foot
if
is
he
down
has
there.
control, that first foot is the right foot.
The touchdown has been confirmed.
That ball moved.
Now,
I'll go down swinging. I'll debate anybody about this. That was not a touchdown. I don't care if it was a Lions player. When the first foot went down, that ball moved. That's not possession. That's not possession. Then he had it in control on the second step. And by the time he got to the third step, which would have been the second step, he was out of bounds. So that was not even a touchdown. That shouldn't have been allowed. There we go. Let's blame the refs, but that was legit. That was not a touchdown. Now, what you're saying is that Mr. Brooks that we're talking about, they gave up on that play?
Yeah.
Yeah, that effort, just standing there, not going back, keep going, keep fighting. Yeah, I don't like that either. That's, maybe in the film room, that didn't go over well with Coach Shepard either. I could
Well,
imagine when he watched the film.
so you watch the first angle of it. He
Mm-hmm.
looks to the sideline like he's kind of searching for the ball.
Mhm.
I also watched Harper, the replacement safety, come from the other side of the field to actually hit him to make a play to try to jar that ball loose. That didn't, Brian Branch, if you go back to the beginning of the game, first possession, he came up the B gap and he had Josh Jacobs dead to rights. And he messed up the tackle for loss. Now that happens. Josh Jacobs is a great back, right? But
Right.
there he was flat-footed when the ball hit. It's like he stopped, he gave up. Like to me, that didn't feel like that grit I'm talking about. That didn't feel like the Brian Branch that we drafted. The Brian Branch that came into training camp fighting his teammates. He was so aggressive, he was ready to go. The Brian Branch who got in trouble with the first game against the Packers because he was so hyped up. That's not what I want to see out of my young, talented, future Pro Bowl safety. To me, I might be nitpicking, but that's not what I want to see out of a team whose identity is grit, right? That's not. And not to change subject. Helen, how you doing? Sorry, I didn't have the comments up. Alex, how you doing? Curry, SBD. No, I played college ball. I was a tattoo artist for years, but thanks. But yeah, so like on a scale of 1 to 10, bro, how worried are you about the loss to the Packers? Going from 2-0 against them to 0-2, them sweeping us, getting us on Thanksgiving, our performance both times against them. Like, do they have our number without Ben?
Possibly. I mean, I tell you this. They had a lot to look forward to going into this season, regardless of whether we had Ben Johnson or not. They came in into this season getting swept last year. That's motivation. Just like we'll have motivation next year when we go into either Green Bay or Ford Field the first game. We're going to be like, okay, it's time to sweep their ass again. It has truly become a rivalry. I honestly believe that even though we had a poor defensive showing Thursday, we only lost by 7, and it could have been a lot closer. If we'd have took the 3, that Dan went for on the 4th down and none of us agreed with, 99% of probably not Lions Nations like kick the damn field goal. Let's just get the 3 points and go, give them the ball back, and then play some defense. It was not as a big of a game if it wasn't for our defense, and I hate to blame one unit, but I do believe that our defense hurt us last week. And when you sit back and think about it, Woody, that's not the unit that's banged up with injuries. Yeah, we probably got a player hurt here and there. I know Kirby's a big loss. Terry Arnold, I know he's a young guy, 2nd, 3rd year. I know he's got a season-ending injury. But
Yeah.
Harper, he's picked it up right. He's came in and played hard. I feel like the biggest issue is our defense versus our offense, and our offensive line has got to step it up. They've been at times this year not even average. If we can get to average, we got a guy back there, number 0. I like to call him Agent Zero. Can this eat defense alive? Like he can just pick apart. We saw what he done against the Giants. He single-handedly got us the W.
Yeah.
That's what I feel. And I know Bates had a hell of a kick. He tied it up and gave us life. But, our offensive line needs to step up. If we have keys, defense needs to play harder. They need to be tougher. We need to get pressure on the quarterback. I know not every down you're going to get to the quarterback, but I don't think we even got near love Thursday.
Yeah. So what you're saying, I want to address a comment, Jason Bandy. He said, no, the line hasn't played good. Matter of fact, the lines on both sides have sucked. Jason,
I agree.
that to me is our biggest issue. We used to win in the trenches. We have bread and our butter, right? Jahmyr Gibbs is an animal. Monty is an animal, right? They're doing this without great offensive line play. Once again, we go back to our earlier comments with Ben Johnson. I think his play calling, his situational play calling, Ben Johnson had so many plays that looked the exact same that did completely opposite things. He would set you up in the second quarter with a play, show you the same look in the third quarter, and score a touchdown. And in games as close as we've been having, those are difference makers. That was our bread and our butter, how we got these fourth down conversions, etc. Right? Jason, you're 100%. Don, you're 100%. I truly believe our issues come from the trenches. You know, the Packers week 1 exposed Glasgow's lateral movement, right? If you push him to his right or to his left, they started cross hitching. The defensive tackle and the defensive end would cross hitch, and they could never recover. Their feet movement was not good. Glasgow is an issue on this offensive line, and our offensive line just don't even look the same, right? It doesn't. And then, like, once again, I'm not trying to beat a dead horse. Ben Johnson, he has 4 offensive linemen on his team that are ranked in the top 10 at his position, right? Like, DeAndre Swift's career has revamped. Kyle Monangai looks like a top 10 running back, and he might be, to be honest with you. You're talking about a back that has never fumbled the ball. He never fumbled at Rutgers, and he hasn't fumbled here, putting up 130 yards per game, not per game, but in the last game against a Philly defense that completely shut our run game down, right? Just picked up Jason Phillips. You're talking about 2 backs that you would consider maybe average or fillers at best under normal circumstances. One average 5.8 yards, one average 6.1 yards per carry. I mean, he's got it cooking. He has both tight ends, Coast and Loveland. That kid's only 21 years old. Him and Komet are an issue. He has these boys believing in themselves. And I said prior to the year, Chicago doesn't reflect the record. They have good talent over there. They're building too, picking up Joe Tunney, Joan Jackson. Like, he might be another Pro Bowl year, Jonah, right? And that goes back to us letting go of Ziegler. Ziegler was top 3 at his position. Jonah Jackson was a Pro Bowler here. You got to fill these holes, you know. Next man up, like you said, right? So, and then let me finish with this. Jason Bandy, so we like to be interactive with the comments. He said, "I honestly don't think it's been Ben Johnson issue. It's a lack of overall ability." And you know what? That might be the simple truth. We might just be looking for a way to go with it. And you could be hitting the nail on his coffin, Jason. It could be just a fucking lack of inability. But then who does that fall on?
Front office, sir.
Fair? So let's do this, right? So let's get into our 4th topic, which is Detroit versus America's team. You got the Dallas Cowboys coming in on a 3-game win streak. Couple big wins. They got their mojo back. 2 good wide receivers. That running back they got from the Broncos, Javante, he looks like he belongs. Dak, you know, Dak's a hit or miss, right? He's either an MVP candidate or he's fucking Sam Darnold 3 years ago. There is no in between, right? They made a couple big additions at the trade deadline, getting Quentin Williams. They got off Michael Parsons. What do you think? What do you think about us matching up? What do you think about this game coming up?
I love our matchup. I did some stats, a little bit of looking into this Dallas Cowboy team, trying to dissect how good they really are on the road, because I know at Jerry World, they're pretty damn good. At least they're above average, correct? On the road, this team is throwing some horrible numbers at us. And I know they got a couple players through the trade deadline, and they've beefed their defensive lineup just a little bit, and they're helping out, and good for them. But overall, numbers don't lie. And my gosh, man, you're 2-4 on the road. You give up, what did we say, Woody, earlier? You give up over 30 points a game on the road. Their average is like 30.2. That's a ton of points, dude. That's over 4 touchdowns on the road.
Yeah.
And Detroit, and even though they've been playing bad and the defense hasn't been good here lately, the last couple of games, we still only averaged 20.8 points a game at home, which to me is pretty impressive, even though we've had 2 back-to-back stinkers.
Yeah.
If Coach Shep can get us to where we're playing before the Giants game before Philadelphia, when we were on a 4-game winning streak, 5-game winning streak, if we can get back to that level with patchwork players, guys that step in for Kirby Joseph, guys that step in for Terrion Arnold, and somehow coach can get us playing at the level we're capable of. But the ability is a good point. Do we have the ability? Do we have the grit? Do we have the fight? Let's not give up on plays. Let's stay with the wide receiver. We got a big problem tomorrow night.
What's
and it's
that?
their wide receivers on both sides.
Ah,
That's a huge problem. Now, you can't double team on both, but you could probably work on double team at least one. If you can take Woody, if you could take either Pickens or take Lamb and either like slow them down to where they don't produce as much, which one are you? I'll put you in the hot seat. Which one are you going to focus on? It seems to me like Pickens is doing more. He's been putting up better numbers. Who would you pick on more, Woody? Coach Woody?
look, they're gonna pick on all of them. We don't have a corner over 5'9" right now, right?
Right.
Listen. CeeDee Lamb was the receiver to bring George Pickens out of George Pickens. If you remember him and for the Pittsburgh Steelers, it seemed like he lacked effort, like he wasn't motivated. Pickens is a dog. We're going to have issues back there, right? Especially if Branch is going to quit. We need that in-your-face Branch. We need that Branch when Kirby's on the field, right?
Yeah.
And look, I want to get back. This is the biggest thing, right? Because for our corners to have success, you have to have a pass rush. You have to. You can't leave any corner out there for 3.5, 4 seconds with a quarterback that can move. Once again, I'm going to get back to Jason. Jason says, need a center and depth. And for the love of God, play Tyreek and Aleem and bench Reader. You know what? Tyreek, he's not going to have 20 sacks a year. His gap responsibility and what he does was beneficial. I'd like Tyreek's game. If you ask me, I still think he was a desperation pick at 28. That's me, right? Because Brad Holmes' method is what? Position over player? I mean, player over position. I said that backwards.
Right.
The Dallas Cowboys, they really don't have to establish a run. They're just good. Like, I like their tight end, Schoonmaker, right? I like what they do. They're offensive in their defensive line. They're good in the trenches. We're going to have a problem with that. They're playing with a lot of confidence right now. We're walking into Thursday night football. Just got our butts beat. I mean, we really should be coming off a 3-game losing streak. The game worries me, but I think it's winnable. And I think we match up good. We beat the tar off them last year, right? Last year?
Right.
Yeah, we beat the tar off them last year, right? I out of our secondary with them boys, I have more faith in Harper right now than anybody else. I think Harper's doing good. Even with Kirby out, Harper's rated a top 20 safety at his position. He's playing lights out ball. Listen, in our secondary, our guys coming off the bench isn't the issue. The next man up, those boys are playing football.
Do you think DJ Reed has showed his performance has showed a little less than what we expected because of his injury? He's coming back. He's not in the flow. Tomorrow night, could he lock down? Could he be that cornerback that locks down on Lamb and says, okay, this dude's not beating us. He'll get his catches, but he's not going to beat us for 40, 50-yard gashes. And is he that dude? Can he step up? I just wonder, people want to talk about injuries. This guy come off an injury, and he was pretty damn good before he got hurt.
Absolutely.
Everybody loved him. Oh gosh, Lions Nation loved DJ Reed when he's healthy.
I did. Yeah,
you did.
I did. I loved the pickup. I loved it.
So yeah, I did too. I thought he was a good one. For us to lose Carlton Davis, which I didn't agree with, I'd have paid the man. He's still putting up damn good numbers for the Patriots.
Yeah.
But we ended up getting DJ Reed, and that was a good get. I thought a good sign. But give the guy a chance to get back in the flow. He's been back one game, 2 games. Oh God, we just want to give up on everybody. Well, why don't we just do this? Let's just quit. Let's just shut all 5 games down and not play and just go and watch the Pistons play, guys. Majority of you
Yeah.
probably Piston fans now. Probably 3 years ago, you couldn't stand them. You probably didn't wear a Piston shirt. You probably stayed away from that arena. Don't give up on your team. Don't be that. Don't be bandwagon. Gosh, man, that 0-16 team still don't sit with me. It still hurts to this day.
Yeah.
You know, but gosh, man, 7-5 is not the best record. I get it. I know. But you got 5 games in front of you. You can do some serious damage.
Yeah.
You can finish the season with 11. You can finish the season if you're hitting on all cylinders. You can finish with 5 wins. My opinion. Call me a homer. Call me whatever you want. When it comes to like, I'm not going to be negative, Nancy. I'll be real and I'll be honest and I'll answer all questions the way I see fit to answer. But I still think that we have enough talent on this team that can win us all these games. All these games.
Yeah.
Now, they got to play better.
Yeah.
Definitely. We've got to play better.
Especially Amik Robertson had a really tough game last game, right? I think he sets the tone for our secondary. Even if you look at like Amik Robertson, you know, when he went down, not to bring up last year, when he went down against Washington, you felt the whole vibe change. Like Amik, that pickup from the Raiders, and I believe Harper came from the Raiders too. So,
Right.
you know, I love Amik. Meek's been struggling, but he also has a lot of heart. He's the most outspoken guy after the games. It's gonna be a game.
Amik is one of those players that you burn him this time, the next time he'll get you.
Yeah,
He always comes back. He don't get burnt every time. So I get what you're saying. He's a pivotal piece tomorrow night. He can be a good stopper against these 2 beasts of wide receivers. You know,
I would want to see Amik. I want to see Amik on Pickens. That's the matchup I want to see. I'd say
he's physical. He's physical, and that's what you need on Pickens. He's big. Pickens gets in his own head.
Yeah.
I watched him last year with the Steelers, several games, so sometimes I don't have nothing else on TV to watch because my wife's a Steeler fan. The Lions have already played, or they're playing later, or whatever. And I'm telling you, this guy, man, talking about quitting on a team, he quit on the Steelers a lot. A lot. And he cried. And then he wants to call St. Brown slot merchant. He couldn't carry St. Brown's freaking cleats. And that's my opinion. Has he had a great year? Yeah, he has. But you know what? This is his last year on his current contract. Why wouldn't he have a great year? Are you stupid, folks? Why wouldn't he go out and hustle and bust his ass and try to get that money? That's what he's doing. And he's earning it. And who's to say Dallas can even keep him? If they franchise tag him, that's a lot of money. That'll hit that cap right there real good, real quick. You know? So
we're getting into the last 10 minutes of the show. And we're gonna get to our final topic, right? The remaining schedule. Your thoughts on it, and do you think we have a path to the playoffs?
I do. I think tomorrow night against the Dallas Cowboys is a must win. No matter how you cut it. It's our next to last game at home, which you got to win your home games if you want to get anywhere. I feel that if we can win tomorrow, we have an excellent chance. I don't care what the experts say. I don't care what anybody says. I feel tomorrow is a must win. And if we win it, we make the playoffs. And I'll break it down to you. So we have a total of 5 games left, correct? So we've got that game, the Rams game. Everybody in America has got us an L. We've already lost that game and we haven't even kicked off yet. So with that being said, let's just give us a loss for shits and giggles, okay? So we win this game, we lose the next one. The next 3 opponents are at Minnesota. No, sorry about that. At home versus the Pittsburgh Steelers, a team with an identity crisis, also with an issue overall. They're wanting to fire their coach and everybody else. So you got your last home game against Pittsburgh, which I give us a win.
Right.
Christmas, a few days later, 4 days later, 3 or 4 days later, Christmas at Minnesota, a team that came into your house and rocked you. But that Minnesota team does not look like the same Minnesota team that came into Detroit and embarrassed us. Let's give us a win. So that sets the table up. So you're 3-1 out of 5 games. You're going to Chicago. Probably both teams, it's set up to where both teams need a win probably to get into the playoffs, because I don't see Chicago winning their last 5 games. I can see a major losing. I can see 3 in a row, maybe 4 in a row before we get to them. This is my opinion. When they get to this stiff competition, it's going to get a little bit different.
Yeah.
Man ain't going to be sitting there with this shirt saying who's better, best, or whatever. It would be the last game of the year would be electric, regardless of the injuries, regardless of how we have played. You know how electric that would be going to Chicago? The winner goes to the playoffs, the loser goes home, and you're facing the guy that gave up on your team. He left. Now, granted, he deserved a head coaching job, and I'm happy for him that he got a head coaching job. But I felt, and I still do in my heart, there was other places to go.
Yeah.
He didn't have to go to Chicago. He had 2 or 3 other offers on the table, and he chose Chicago. So it kind of got more personal. You're wanting to beat us now. You helped us win all these games and a couple division championships, titles, and now you want to beat us. So I feel that it wouldn't be that big of a margin. That it wouldn't be that big of an ass kicking like it was in week 2. But it's hard for me to believe that you put Dan Campbell and Ben Johnson in the same game. Winner goes to the playoffs, loser goes home. I feel that Sunday Night Football, and I feel like I don't see Dan losing that game. Now, that's it with all of our issues and the issues that they don't have currently. But in a matter of 4 weeks, Woody, a great team could be beat down. Chicago could be beat down. They faced Packers a couple times. They have some, like I said, the easiest game on their schedule left is Cleveland, and that defense is not easy.
No. So it's a valid point. They play the Packers twice. They got to come play us. I believe they play Baltimore too.
I think so.
And that could give them issues.
Or San Francisco.
Issues.
Maybe it's the 49ers, and they're fighting for their playoff life. It's not going to be a pushover.
Absolutely.
I'm thinking that's the schedule. The Lions, the Packers, Cleveland, and the 49ers. So out of 5 games, you've only got one that's really not, that doesn't have a chance to make the playoffs, but they have probably the best defensive player on the universe.
Yeah.
Or in the universe. So, I mean, if something happens and Shedeur Sanders is clicking, and he's the player that a lot of folks think he is, the quarterback that he could be, and he don't make mistakes and they don't turn the ball over, Chicago may be in for a fight of their life.
So I'm gonna play a clip and then get into my segment about the Dallas game. It's a minute-long clip. It's from the Packers game, and there's a reason why I want to play it. So bear with me just for 1 minute here. You'll enjoy it.
Get as many bodies as a ball carrier as possible.
Here's Goff looking, throwing high. It's caught by Jamison Williams. Breaks a tackle, and Jamison Williams down to the 42. Boy, do they need that. And Jamison gives them a spark. The first completion all day from Jared Goff goes for 23. Gibbs tries to outrace Parsons, and he does. Look at Gibbs, who's got a first down. Boy, you don't see anybody do that. He ran right by Micah Parsons on the outside to pick up a first and 19 on the rush.
Oh, yeah.
4-man rush. Goff. Wait, there's one. Caught! Oh, how about Tom Kennedy? 180. Here's Montgomery looking for a seam. Right side, Montgomery trucking through all the way down to the 6. That's a good run as Montgomery picks up 8. Montgomery in the Wildcat getting the snap. He gets it. Looking to run. Right side, Montgomery. Trucks in. Touchdown, Detroit.
So against the Giants, against the Giants, we averaged 5.6 yards per passing attempt. Against the Packers, we averaged 6.1 yards per passing attempt. Now, that was just about the first possession into the second quarter. That's what our offense used to look like, right? JMO attacking the middle, slanting through the middle, and that's St. Brown was injured at that point. I don't understand why we don't do more of that. Now, it could be the offensive line issues, and Dan Campbell Morton doesn't feel comfortable enough to do it all the time. Our playbook's been very limited, right? Gibbs has been playing out of his mind. And usually when the running game performs the way it does, the passing game will follow. We just haven't seen it. The pass blocking and run blocking are just two different evils at this point, right? You can see it in the coach's confidence. That drive gave me hope. I'm like, oh, wow. Like it had reminiscence of last year, kind of like the Chicago game. Them boys came to play. I think they came to play for golf, the city. I think they felt what Ben Johnson did was personal too. And you've seen it, right? I mean, Chicago has given up 40 or 30 plus points, I think, twice this year. We're one of them. I think Cincinnati put up 42 on them too. Another thing is about that Chicago, when we're talking about the path to the playoffs. I mean, they beat Philly. They beat Kansas City, right? They beat the Cowboys, the first one of the year. Other than that, it's been kind of cake and flowers for the most part. They haven't had a schedule like the Packers. They haven't had a schedule like us. It's been an easier path. At the same time, they're still playing good football. This is the National Football League. These guys are all professionals. I think that we have to come out and the season has to change. I think you're 100% correct. This is a must-win game. This game has to set the tone. Mm-hmm. This right here. We have to win in Chicago. We have to win in Minnow. We have to take the Rams out. A lot of us said the first to 11 wins the division. I don't think that's too far off right now. Mm-hmm. I don't. It's a 2-game. We got 5 games left. We're down 2 games, 1 game to the Packers. All the Packers do have the tie. They beat us both times, but in my heart, do I think we win the division? I'd be very surprised. I really would be very, very surprised.
We would have to win out to win the division.
Right. And even then it's a big if. It's not in our hands, right?
Right, but I don't know. How many wins does Green Bay have? 8, correct?
And a tie. Remember they had that tie?
Right. I'm just looking at their schedule, and their schedule is not real easy. I mean, they still have to play through Denver. They've got Chicago twice.
Yeah.
That's 3 games they lose, and we went out. We got them. So I don't know who else they play, but I can see them splitting with Chicago. I don't know if they could beat that Denver defense. Denver's on a different level, and I believe that game is in Denver, which even makes it even more of their favor. Yep, I don't know, man. Who knows who's going to win? But you know what? Momentum is what it is, and right now is when we want to get clicking, not like 8 weeks ago, like Chicago. I can see Chicago hitting the wall, and it's right now, like you said, this is the time to click. Detroit goes out and beats Chicago. Say it's a game that reminds you of Baltimore, how we won that game. We out-physicaled them. We were just more physical. And I know we've got some injuries, I understand. But if we can will these players into playing that style that way, and we go out, we bust them in the head, beat Dallas, go to the Rams, shock the world by going to L.A. and beating Stafford, then what are they going to say, Woody? What are they going to say? They're 9-5. They're playing better. What are they going to say when you got 3 games coming up that you probably won't be favored in Chicago because of the way they're playing, but if they lose a couple, you probably will be. It just depends on how momentum's everything. Tomorrow night, we got to get our momentum back. We've got to win. If we lose tomorrow, the way our fan base acts and overreacts, it's over.
Yeah.
Regardless if these guys go out and win the next 4 games, even beat the Rams, it's over. Everybody will look at it and say it's over. It'll be just, and I'm coming up for the Pittsburgh game.
Yeah.
I want it to be competitive. I want us to be on a roll. If something happens, we beat Dallas, lose the Rams, I'm still going to be there with a smile on my face, rooting our guys on. And, I still have faith and believe. And, for the fans that truly are, they've been fans for 2 or 3 years. You have no earthly idea what you're talking about. You've not seen it all. You've not had those 2-14 seasons, 0-16. Chill. We currently have a winning record. Give these guys a chance. Give them a chance to get it turned around. I'm sure they felt just as bad as we did, or even worse, when they left that field Thursday, going back home to eat their rotten turkey or whatever they had for Thanksgiving. You know.
Yeah.
But
So
I mean, I'm not giving up on our guys, man. My glass is over half full. I'm ready to freaking rock and roll. I want to see the Lions tomorrow night roll Dallas's ass. We owe them. Last year was that was one win. They beat us 2 or 3 games in a row before that. We owe them.
So we're getting to the end of the show. What I want you to do, we're going to add this on. We had 5 segments. Take 30 seconds. Give me your final thoughts on the Lions. Go.
Well, I believe that the Lions are going to come out tomorrow night, and you're going to see a different Detroit Lions team than you saw the last 2 games. I think defense is going to be a lot tighter. I think we're going to make stops. There won't be 4th down conversions like Green Bay had last week over and over and over. There are going to be some punts. It's going to be a competitive game. We'll give up points. We're going to score plenty of points. I think when it's all said and done, the Lions will win by 3. I say let's go on this Thursday night, 27-24 Detroit. I'll say 3 points. I'll give us a field goal win and momentum. That's the biggest thing. Momentum. And what did I tell you guys last week on that show? There's plenty of time off. You play Thursday, you don't play the Rams until Sunday the following week. That's 9 days off to get ready. Let's go Lions. I'm still jacked. I want to see tomorrow night, and I'm excited, and I have my hopes high, even if St. Brown isn't there.
Yeah. So it sucks, guys, because for the first time in a couple years, it's not in our hands. Actually, it hasn't been in our hands. The last time we go back was to our 9-8 season where we knocked the Packers out of the playoffs, but we didn't make it because LA didn't win, if you remember. Don't give up on the guys. The talent's there. The coaching staff has shown improved. They can make this ship float. Give the boys a chance. Have faith in Dan Campbell, and just hope that they still have that grit inside them. We need to win tomorrow. I'm going to say 42-28. I'm going to jump it out. I'm not going to say who has 42. I'm not going to say who has 28. Let's just hope it's our boys. It was a great show, John. Donnie, I enjoyed it. I'll see you next week, brother.
And one last thing, guys, for the fans going to Ford Field tomorrow, man, wear white. They want to do a white out. Wear white. Don't wear blue. Don't wear black. Come on. Wear white. Be as loud as you can. Stand up on defense and scream to the top of your lungs. Make Dak Prescott's life a living hell tomorrow night.
Yes.
I want to witness it. I want to see it. You guys that's going to the game, you guys are the ones that have all the power. And let's go Lions.
Let's go Lions. Everyone who commented in the chat, thank you. Until next week, have a blessed week.